Remember, it's already preheated for 20 minutes. Did I do it? I think I did it. That's it. Hi, I'm Jenné Claiborne in the NYT Cooking Studio Kitchen, and we are making 3 delicious air fryer recipes. We are gonna be making my jerk sweet potato fries. We're making a delicious crispy orange cauliflower dish, and we're gonna finish it off with my crispy tofu nuggets. I love air fryers because they are so convenient. They cook food in about half the time as a traditional oven. There are a few different types of air fryers. Often you'll see this kind with a pull-out basket, and you might find an air fryer that looks more like a toaster oven. I've even seen some people have an air fryer function in their larger oven. No matter what you have, these recipes should work for you. The first recipe we're gonna make are these jerk sweet potato fries. I love sweet potatoes so much. I am sweet potato soul, and these fries take sweet potato fries to the next level because we're gonna top them with a crispy, flavorful jerk saute sort of thing. You're not gonna need to dip them in a sauce. They have everything they need right when they hit the table. You don't have to peel sweet potatoes. You know, they have a lot of their nutrition in the skin, but for texture, I'm just gonna peel them. They're still super delicious without the skin. You can slice them as thin or as thick as you'd like. However, I always do like a traditional French fry thickness. So I cut a little bit off, and then now I have a lot more control because I have a flat surface and it's not going to slip. You can also make these as sweet potato wedges if you want a little, thicker sweet potatoes. Just know that if you do, you're gonna have to air fry them a little bit longer until they're nice and tender. So now we've got our sliced sweet potatoes. First things first, we're gonna add some oil. I'm using extra virgin olive oil. If you want to do a neutral oil like avocado, that's fine too, or any other oil that you have on hand. It's not that big of a deal. We're gonna season these with some spicy jerk seasoning, a dry jerk seasoning, not a wet. You can often find jerk sauce in a bottle. We're not using that, we're using jerk spice, and it's a blend. You can make it at home or you can find it at the grocery store. You can use any variety you like. You can do a mild one, a super spicy one, whatever floats your boat, along with garlic powder. Whenever I make sweet potato fries, it's gotta have garlic powder. And of course, some salt. Thyme is a classic spice for Jamaican jerk sauces and jerk seasoning. So we're gonna amp it up a little with some more thyme. It was already in the jerk seasoning, but we're just gonna add some more. Make sure that every single sweet potato fry has got some spice on it. We have our air fryer preheated to 375. You wanna make sure it preheats at least 5 minutes. This one kind of does it automatically. And we are gonna place the sweet potatoes in a single layer at the bottom of our air fryer basket. We're gonna give them a little bit of space so that they can fully crisp up and not just, steam and get mushy. And these will crisp up really nicely. I'm gonna air fry these for 10 to 15 minutes. I'm just gonna check on them at 10. And while they're cooking, we're gonna make our little quick topping for these sweet potato fries. We're gonna add some oil to our pan. Bell pepper and scallions first. Some fresh minced garlic, ginger, nutmeg, which is a classic spice in Jamaican jerk seasoning, and black peppercorns. I love the crunch and the spice, the hit when you bite into these. I don't want it to cook too long. I don't want the peppers to get soggy. I want them to stay crisp, but also let these spices and all of the aromatics bloom. It'll be even more delicious. That's it. We're gonna remove this from the heat. It's been about 10 minutes. Our sweet potatoes in the air fryer. I just wanna give them a look. And they are looking fantastic, looking very good. Depending on your air fryer, they could take as long as 15 minutes. If you want them really, really crispy, or let's say you slice them larger than I did, you might even air fry them for longer, like 20, 25 minutes, depending on how big you cut them. But these, I'm sorry, but these are perfect. And then we are gonna top it with our crunchy vegetable goodness over here. Often what I'll do is I'll garnish it for looks. save a little for the side, and you can add some more as you get lower, you know? I am smelling the garlic and the ginger. That combination is amazing. That's why I just wanted to, give a nice quick saute. That way the flavors are very bright and the smell is so fresh. It's amazing. Just a little lime zest. If you'd like, you can do a squeeze of lime right on top before you serve it. Delicious. Perfect flavor combination. There's something about not having to dip your fry every time. This is a complete dish right here. You don't need a sauce because you've got this incredible topping. Now we're gonna make my orange cauliflower bites. This recipe is full of flavor. And just so you know, all of these recipes, if you don't have an air fryer, you can also make them in the oven. I find the crispy air fryer cauliflower absolutely addictive though. So we're gonna do that with this recipe today. So I'm gonna show you what I do. I actually turn my cauliflower over at first, take my knife, and as well as I can, I cut at the base of the floret and I try to pry perfect little cauliflower piece out. Now I have a little opening. I might be able to pop another floret off. It's very important that the vegetables be all about the same size because you want them to cook evenly. This is the perfect size right here. A little smaller is okay, but we don't want to end up with a huge piece and a small piece together because they're just not going to cook evenly. Now I'm just going to transfer these to my mixing bowl and we're going to make our wet batter for these. We're starting with some all-purpose flour and we're going to add garlic powder, some salt. I'm going to whisk it to combine my dry really quickly before adding my plain unsweetened soy milk. It's not important that you use soy milk, but it is essential that you use a plain and unsweetened non-dairy milk. I mean, it's just not going to taste good with the vanilla flavor. So make sure it's plain and unsweetened. Read the ingredients. And I also always make sure that the soy milk I'm buying only has soybeans and water. We don't need any of that extra stuff in here. We're going to just pour it right over. Make sure it's all well coated. Now, this is the part where it's very important that you don't see any more dry cauliflower. You want all of your cauliflower to have some of that wet batter on it, okay? Even the insides if you can. This is a messier dish, so we are going to make sure we line our air fryer. You don't have to do this, but it's gonna make it so much cleaner, and also, it's gonna prevent the cauliflower from sticking, okay? So I trace the base of my air fryer. You can even do a bunch at a time so that you can, not have to trace it and cut it every time. And of course, you can buy them pre-cut. I used to not line the air fryer, and yes, I would wash it after every use. But I got sick of doing that. You can put it in the dishwasher, but my dishwasher is always full of other stuff. So lining it is good. I prefer it this way, especially for anything messier. I've made sure to preheat my air fryer, and I also made sure to not add the parchment paper before I've added the food. Wait until it's fully preheated before you add your parchment. We're gonna make sure that we don't crowd these too much, giving them a little bit of space around. It doesn't have to be like a full inch. We're just gonna make sure that they can, the air can circulate and get them nice and crispy and cooked through. I was inspired to make this recipe because I used to love orange chicken, like at the Chinese restaurants in the mall. So I wanted to recreate that flavor. Et voila! I'm air frying this at 350 degrees. Remember, it's already preheated for 20 minutes. So while these are in the air fryer, we are gonna make our orange sauce, one of my favorites. To start, once my pan is hot, I'm going to add some neutral avocado oil. I really like avocado oil. Fresh ginger, ooh, yum. Some garlic. I'm gonna saute our aromatics really quickly. That smell, I love the combination of garlic and ginger. Now we're gonna add our freshly squeezed orange juice, some soy sauce, some rice vinegar, And for the sweetener, dates. I'm using dates instead of sugar, trust me on this one. They are super, super sweet. These are already pitted, by the way. You're gonna bring this to a simmer and let it cook for about 5 minutes. You'll notice that the dates start to soften and everything smells so good. We're gonna make a cornstarch slurry to help thicken up that sauce. You never want to add cornstarch directly to your simmering sauce on the stove. Instead, you want to add it to some water so that you can blend it and get rid of any clumps. Our dates have broken down, they've softened up. We're going to pour our cornstarch slurry into the pan. And we're going to continue stirring it, still on like medium heat. And it will thicken this sauce. I'm gonna just move it to that burner right there, let it cool down before we blend it. Our cauliflower is finished cooking and it's looking gorgeous. I love it. It is perfectly tender. It is ready to go. Time to blend our orange sauce. I'm using a high-speed blender to do this. If you'd rather, you can use an immersion blender, especially if you're making the sauce in a saucepan and you can actually get an immersion blender down. It's still a little hot, so what I'm gonna do to make sure it doesn't explode from all the steam, I don't have the top here on the top, you know? So place it on your blender, and then you can take a kitchen towel to sort of cover the top of the blender so nothing splashes out. We're going for creamy, we're going for silky and smooth, and I think we've nailed it. It smells amazing too. I'm gonna put this in a mixing bowl and then we can pour the sauce on top. You might have a little extra sauce, and if you do, you can save it for later. You can even freeze the excess sauce. Give it a toss gently because we want the cauliflower to stay together as much as possible. You can serve this over rice or greens or just as is. I think this is such a good appetizer if you have people over. It looks very impressive in my opinion. And I like to do a combination of white and black sesame seeds. I think it looks so pretty. And it gives it a really nice crunch too. It's really good. It is really good. It's definitely giving mall Chinese food. It's so tasty, really fresh. The air fryer really did its thing with this cauliflower, y'all. I am so impressed and so pleased. I hope you'll give this recipe a try. Time for the air fryer tofu nuggets. It's so kid friendly. My daughter loves it. And it's very rich in protein. It's super easy as well. First thing we need to do is press the tofu, which we've already done here. All we did was remove the tofu from the container, place it in between 2 towel papers, or you can use a clean kitchen towel, and then put something heavy on top, and it's gonna press the liquid out of the tofu. You just wanna make sure to press it for at least 20 minutes. You can do it for an hour or even longer. As you see, I don't even have a knife up here. I'm going to break it apart with my hands because I want kind of irregular shaped pieces. If you have just like perfect tofu cubes, you know, the spices don't stick in the same way. So if you have kids and you want to get them involved in the kitchen as well, this is a great recipe because there are no knives required. So I usually have my daughter come in the kitchen with me and help break the tofu pieces apart. So here I have dill pickle juice. The reason I'm using this is it's briny and delicious. I love pickles. So it also kind of gives the flavor of Chick-fil-A nuggets, which I grew up eating. I've tested this recipe on lots of people, and they tell me that this does taste like Chick-fil-A, and I think that dill pickle juice is to thank. Tamari soy sauce. I use a lot of soy sauce in my vegan cooking because it has a nice umami flavor. Oftentimes, when you're eating something that is plant-based, and if it feels like it's missing something, a lot of times it just might be that umami flavor profile. Some oil and sugar. Try to dissolve the sugar as best you can. I'm gonna toss it in the liquid, and then we're gonna add some more spices. The tofu does not need to marinate in this sauce. This is why we press our tofu before we cook it. We want to get rid of all that excess water so it can soak up any of the flavor, the spices, the marinade that we put on it. So I've got some flour to make a crispy coating. Also some garlic powder. Y'all know I love garlic powder. Smoked paprika for a smoky taste, black pepper, and some salt. Kind of toss them as gently as possible to make sure that they're all coated, but they're still all intact. Our air fryer is preheated. We're gonna remove it and add our perfectly cut parchment paper. I've also sprayed this with a little bit of spray oil. Pour all of the tofu into the air fryer basket, and then from this point, kind of spread them out. They're gonna need a little space around them to circulate the air, but it doesn't have to be super perfect. We just don't want them like all on top of each other. This is not required, but I like to spray the tops just before they go into the air fryer to make sure they're extra crispy on top. If you're really trying to limit oil, then you can skip this if you want. So these are gonna air fry for 20 minutes. We're gonna flip them halfway through. It's been 10 minutes. I'm going to check our tofu. Ooh, wow. It looks very good. I'm gonna flip it. Ooh, it looks so good. It smells good, it's sizzling. The air fryer, the magic of the air fryer. And as these cook for the next like 10 minutes, they're gonna get meatier and crispier on the edges. Back in the air fryer we go. These are done and they look absolutely perfect. Golden, crispy on the outside. I'm sure they're meaty on the inside and we can enjoy them nice and hot. I'm gonna dip it in this barbecue sauce. I'm a barbecue sauce type of girl. You could do ketchup, whatever you like. Oh my goodness. Mmm. Very good. Mmm, very good. Okay, one more. It is definitely giving Chick-fil-A. These are so good and so kid-friendly. You can make these as an appetizer. You can do it for kids with the sweet potato fries. This is a really nice pairing. And guess what? Sounds crazy, but they're also good cold. I've done it. Today we made these jerk sweet potato fries, orange cauliflower bites, and crispy tofu nuggets. If you just got an air fryer or you're just looking for more delicious air fryer ideas, I hope this video gave you some inspiration. You can find these recipes on New York Times Cooking and in my cookbook, Vegan Vibes.